let's factor 8x squared minus 22x plus 15. So the first thing we should notice, if we look at the coefficients here, a is 8, leading coefficient 8. The linear coefficient, b, is negative 22, and always be careful, include that minus sign. That is part of the coefficient. And we've got our constant term, positive 15, c equals 15. So we put AC in the top box and B in our diamond diagram, in the bottom box of our diamond diagram. So AC, A times C, that's 8 times, and our C was 15. If we multiply that out, 8 times 10 is 80, plus 8 times 5 is 40, so 80 plus 40 is 120. 120, and B is negative 22, so we're going to have a 120 in the top, and we're going to have a negative 22 in the bottom. That's step 2. And so step 3, we want to factor 120 as a product of two numbers, m and n, that add up to negative 22. We want the sum to be negative 22 and the product to be 120. So let's factor this 120. So there are a few ways to factor this. We could try 2 times 60, but 60 plus 2 is definitely not negative 22. All right. So, so how could we handle this minus sign? Well, if we make both of these factors negative, then the negatives will cancel when we multiply and give us a positive 120. In this example, negative 60 plus negative 2, that still wouldn't be negative 22. But let's try a different factorization. Let's try 120. So there's a 0 in the ones place, so that means 10 is a factor. So let's see what happens with that 10. So 10, 120 divided by 10 leaves 12 as a quotient. So 10 times 12 is 120. And, well, 10 plus 12 is positive 22. So if we put in minus signs here, negative 10 and negative 12, negative 10 plus negative 12 equals negative 22. So that checks out. So we can take m equals negative 10 and n equals negative 12. The product is 120. The sum is negative 22. Now we're going to split the linear term. So we've got 8x squared minus 22x plus 15. The linear term is this middle term, the x term. We're going to split that up. 8x squared minus, so we can do this as negative 10x, and then we could take a minus 12x plus 15. We do it like this and put parentheses in here to group the first two and the last two. All right, so we split the linear term. Now we're going to factor the greatest common factor out of each set of parentheses. So GCF of 8x squared and negative 10x, well, the greatest common factor of 8 and negative 10, that's going to be a 2. So we can take a 2 out, and there's the greatest common factor of x squared and x is x. So we can pull a 2x out of both of these. The greatest common factor of negative 12x and positive 15, well, 3 goes into 12, 3 goes into 15. X is, there's only one x in these two monomials, so no x is going to be a common factor, but we have a common factor, greatest common factor of 3, therefore. So we can factor these out, and when we do that, so our 8x squared minus 10x plus negative 12x plus 15. So we pull the GCF out of the first one, we pull out a 2x, that leaves 4x. 2x times 4x is 8x squared. And then negative 5 times 2x is negative 10x. And we can pull a 3 out of the other parentheses. Pull 3 out of negative 12x, we get negative 4x. And pull 3 out of positive 15, we have 5. Okay, so now here's something interesting. We got 4x minus 5 and negative 4x plus 5 in our two new sets of parentheses. That's not exactly what we want. There's a difference of a minus sign here. So let's pull this minus sign out. All right, so we can pull the minus sign out here. And now it's 4x minus 5, and both of them, we put the minus sign in front of the 3. It's still the same value. We just pulled out a minus 1 using the distributive property. And now we have 4x minus 5 and 4x minus 5 repeating, so we can factor. So 2x times 4x minus 5 minus 3 times 4x minus 5. We pull the 4x minus 5 out, and that leaves 2x minus 3 as the coefficient here. So this 4x minus 5, we pull that over here, and the 2x minus 3 goes into the other set of parentheses.